all been at Starbucks now. Every one of them.
Yeah, well.
Hi, my name is Jenna Apgar, and I am back on Facebook Live with David Roberts for the Business Growth Network, and we are continuing our Business Growth Network Vision Challenge.
Movie star anymore.
No movie star. I took the fancy glasses off, the aviators. But we're back to Vision Challenge number 7, and yesterday we did What Do You Actually Do? And now we are continuing on with the superpower.
Yeah, I like the way the superpower part of this has actually been a part of the methodology. And when some of the value of Jenna and I getting together, as I told her, was that I kind of like the way I like the whole concept of superpower. With I'm kind of into things like X-Men and heroes and Avengers and stuff like that. And so. There are a lot of things about this that are important in the superpower, and frankly, I was telling Jenna as we started, as we kind of integrated in some things that we both have been doing here, is this is actually the place where when I started my If Anything Were Possible journey and sat down with Woody and kind of went through my own story, my own journey, and walked through the process that we've kind of been bringing you through along with us here as we do it again, each of us ourselves, because we're actually going through this journey.
I need to post mine
again, and I probably got to get.
You did the video in the car.
Yeah, I did the video in the car to cover a few days when I was out of pocket, but here is this one was real key to me, because once I kind of realized, had this vision of where I wanted to go and what impact I wanted to make. And then kind of thought about, okay, what am I doing today? And that's part of what we were talking about. Yeah, what do I really do? And what kind of clients do I want? But now it's kind of step back and look at, as we're asking you to do here, is what are the common themes and threads that kind of or the thread that kind of goes through all the things that you've ever done. I mean, the thing is, you have a superpower. We all have a superpower. It's that one thing.
Some people don't believe they do that.
No, but you do.
The lower the self-esteem, the lower the confidence, you feel like you bring anything to the table.
Yeah, as we talked about at the one point, you are the beginning and the end of your story. So you are on this bridge from the future that we're talking about, from point A to point B, but your purpose is not only to see yourself arriving at that place, that is, if anything were possible, because we're going to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is, if you stay focused on that and you keep moving towards it, you're going to get there. So part of this is, what is that thing? What is that part, that superpower? The reason why you have to be on that bridge. I mean, you're going to be,
eventually.
But why do you have to be?
Now,
because that's important. Your superpower is what's going to be necessary, no matter who else you have to bring with you and what other things, resources, but what is it that you uniquely bring to the table that's going to make your journey different and your destination different than anybody else's?
See, I think this one's very interesting, because most people, I could see them skipping over this, especially women. Like men kind of feel like they know themselves and they're a little bit more confident. Women are like, I don't have one. Or if you've been really downtrodden, things have gone really the wrong way, you're like, I'm not good at anything. See, I failed at life. I actually had a friend tell me that from middle school. We connected on Facebook, and we were reconnecting, and she was like, yeah, I kind of failed at life. I'm like, okay.
That's a sad place to be. But
when I think about, I have been in some very interesting places throughout my life. I've been in high places and some very low places. And I've, talked to people who are drug addicts. Right. And even them, like, they can't see they have a superpower. Right. But they have one. Whether it's the ability to look past somebody's, superficial, exterior and see right through, what it is they want, or the ability. My friend who said she failed at life, she is great at construction. Okay. She can lay and build these beautiful things better than most men can. And she's gorgeous at it. I'm like, you could be on TV building things.
Doing things,
but everyone has a superpower, and I can't remember if I put it in the email, but I definitely know it was in the PDF, that if you can't think of one, go ask around. Because sometimes people have an easier time seeing stuff in you that you can't see in yourself.
Well, you pointed out in the letter, which I thought was
Okay.
really good, is that that it sounds egotistical, right? I mean, it sounds, if you're not careful, or people, a lot of times we don't want to say what our superpower is because either we don't know or we feel like talking about it somehow makes, we're self-aggrandizing or whatever. And that's not the case either.
I feel like it's a flip coin.
Yeah.
Like for every superpower, there's always like the negative side.
Right.
So, I mean, Iron Man's got his suit, but he's like an egotistical bastard who
Yeah.
wants to do everything on his own.
Right. Yeah. So we all have the good side and the bad side, but focusing in on the superpower, we can probably spend a lot of time, or ask people, and they can probably share with us a lot of our limitations, of the things that we don't do perfectly. But there's those things. There's a lot of things we need help with. And that'll be important when you start assembling your wealth team as we go forward and past the vision challenge and think about alignment and how do we bring the resources of the network and around you to help you on that journey to the future, or journey from the future.
Well, and sometimes those limitations, I think, will help you find your superpower.
Right.
So we've discussed I am very ADD, ADHD, you as well.
Yeah.
But I think that's where mine comes from. It's on
Well,
the flip
why
side.
don't you share? So what?
I said I can learn anything.
Yeah.
But I can do absolutely, like, learn anything. I've done interior design. I've done military intelligence analyst, which is soaking up everything. And, you know, now I do marketing, and I don't limit myself. Like some marketers will limit themselves to an industry. I don't have to, because any industry any of my clients are in, I can soak up what's necessary, from rocket science to whatever, the easy stuff. So that's probably a lot of my ADD. I enjoy learning, so I can sit down there and learn something for hours on end without forgetting to eat and sleep and go outside, which is why I go to networking meetings in the first place. But I can learn all that, and it keeps my ADD happy.
Yeah.
So you can look at all the negative sides of ADD, my messy house or my piles on my desk, but on the other side, all that pile I can absorb in a day and take in.
Yeah, and I would say that that's one of my observations since the time that we've been working together, is you are very quick, and if she would have asked me, I didn't specifically tell her because I wanted to hear what she had determined. And the thing is, you will continue to refine that. I mean, actually, and again, sharing with you kind of my inflection points on my own dream story when I was driving, when I wasn't supposed to be talking, when I was driving and talking about my reincarnations or the points, and when I talked about my experience with Woody.
Yes.
You know, I said that it was that point where I realized that going through this concept of connecting the dots, it's really an aptitude towards abstract conceptualization that I've kind of somewhat known about for years, but I realized through everything I've done, as I was talking about, this is where I would like to be. Here's the future that I could envision being, if anything were possible. I realized that one of the big components of that involved me connecting those dots that other people may not even see, but connecting dots
because they're abstract.
Because it's abstract.
So if you're a very visual person, you need to see it.
Right.
And that's 50% of the population.
Right.
Like straight off the top, 50%. Off there, another 10% are logic. So you're down to 40% of the people.
Right.
What am I missing? Audio.
Audio.
And so you can see what's not exactly there yet, and piece it together.
And the thing is with that, so realizing that was kind of the superpower that I had exercised not only in the past, but was the superpower that I would begin to draw on and capitalize on as I was on that bridge from the future, and I was there. That's my place. Now there's a whole lot of other things that I'm not good at, that I need people like you, other people that will be part of our network, this business growth network that we envision, right?
Yes.
That people will...
Because everyone has a different superpower.
Right. But understanding what
but
yours
you need,
is...
like the Avengers.
Right.
You can only do so much as Iron Man. You need the Avengers to take on the big guys.
Well, a number of people have asked me, so why is it so important to understand that superpower? Why don't I just keep moving forward and maybe it will? The reality of it is that most, especially what I'm finding, especially entrepreneurs or small business owners, or as you're beginning to start, rather than focusing in on the thing that makes you the most energized, focusing on the thing that you're the best at, you tend to focus on what? Your limitation.
Oh,
everything.
Yeah, everything.
You focus, well, I say focus on everything is kind of an oxymoron, but because,
But you try, and then you do it all
well,
poorly.
which is not focus at all,
No.
right? So the reality of it is that but if you do achieve focus, what I found is you end up spending your time and energy and even money a lot of times
Definitely money.
doing things that you're not good at, the things that aren't your superpower, the things that are your limitations, and those are the things you need to release to your network, to the people that help you.
And that's hard to do.
That it's easier to do than
Sucks down the battery, doesn't it?
yeah. Yeah, it's easier to do if you're doing it and you know what I'm good at. I'm not going to let that go. I'm not going to rely on that, because if you don't do that, what happens? Your business goes in the ditch. How many
But we were
businesses?
talking about that.
Yeah.
We both know lawyers.
Yeah.
I've had clients that are lawyers, and you know some, that they think they're so smart they can do everything. And then they go to try to do their marketing and their website and their ad spend. And I had one literally spend $5,000 in 1 month, 0 leads.
Well,
Because he thought he was so smart, he could do everything. His superpower is lawyering.
well, and without picking on lawyers, that is very typical of professionals. Doctors
Yes.
are the same way.
Anyone who has a high level of degree.
or even people who are like doctors of theology, pastors. I've worked in religion.
The more degrees you have, the
Yeah.
more intelligent you believe yourself to be all
and
the way
the more
across
you
the
believe
board.
you should be able to do
Figure it out.
everything.
Yes.
You should figure everything out. So you end up spending your time focused and dealing with things that aren't your gift. They're not your superpower.
And sometimes you end up either wasting money, giving it off, putting it off the table, because you will sit there and try to do it yourself,
Right.
and either spend so much time. But if you had, I've seen sales consultants where they break this down, and they will break down exactly how much you are worth an hour.
Right.
And then it makes it look really foolish that you took a day off to do something at home that you could have hired a handyman to do for $200.
Right. Yeah, and that's actually an excellent point, because how much energy and time, as we're painting this holistic picture of the future, what is the core that we need to be focused on?
That only you can do.
And then what's the best way and the most efficient way then to get all those other pieces painted, and where are the gaps? So that you can really get there where the picture actually is complete. But guess what? The most important thing about this is about your superpower, but it really boils down to how then you develop as a member of a community, as a member of a network. How do you become, how's that a place for you to exercise your superpower, benefiting not only yourself and your business, but the others in the network? And then how do you allow other people in your network that have their own superpowers that really can help you do things that they can do better? And you work that synergy, what they call synergy, that
That would be interesting to add to the networking meeting. Instead of a 30-second pitch that you always give every week that evereverone knows, can I feed into your superpower?
Actually, we may do that at Richardson Plano Networkers. For those of you on it, we may actually
Guinea pigs.
We may.
Sorry there.
Sorry, we had a little phone call come in. But anyway, so yeah, we may just do that, because I think that is important.
I think it's important to focus on your superpowers. So a friend of mine had asked like a year ago, how many people find power in the word no. And I was like, especially at the time, I was at a point where I was like, meh. I find power in yes. Say yes to as much as humanly possible.
Right.
Which I still, like the idea of yes and, new experiences and different things, but there does hit a point in time when you've got to focus, and every time you say yes, you're actually saying no to something else. So if you don't know where your superpower is and where you are best,
how do you know what to,
in your business, in your family, then every time you say yes to trying to doing this thing and this thing and this thing that's outside of your superpower, instead of letting it, you give it to someone else, delegate it. Until you delegate it to someone else, you've actually said no to something else you could have been doing.
That's actually, we could spend a whole lot of time on
Women
that.
are bad at that.
Well, we're all bad at it.
PTA
we're all,
women.
it's easy to get oversubscribed in a lot of different ways, right? We can all oversubscribe in
Financially,
areas.
time.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole point is, we tend to focus on superpower, and again, it's obviously in your business, but if you really just think about that, what is it that only I can bring? What is it that I've been gifted or set out? What is my purpose? Back to what's my why? What is, all these things connect, but this is, what is my superpower? What is it that only I can bring to the equation? When you're talking about that, again, if anything were possible, that future vision, I mean, one of the things is, do you want somebody else to love your spouse, or do you want to love your spouse? I mean, the reality is that's the only thing.
Depends on the relationship.
Well, I mean, assuming the relationship that you've envisioned is one that's, what most people would see as what they would expect you to envision, then but who do you want to raise your kids? I mean, this is, who is it that, I mean, yeah, there are things that, they can do mechanically, but you want, when I say raise, I mean love and care for and nurture, right? Those are things that you are given to do. That's part of your superpower. Now, maybe your cleaning isn't your superpower, cleaning the house, or maybe it is
not even a little bit.
Yeah. So
that's
I mean,
what maids are for.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, how many people spend all their hours in the day doing things?
I know some women who
don't have the time to really play with or educate or interact with their kids. Now, I'm not being critical of anybody. I'm just saying.
But there's only 24 hours in a day.
Right. We are limited to that. So that is the key.
We better wrap it up.
Yeah, we're going to run out of battery here. So anyway, I guess we ought to just leave them with, we can talk about this some more. We'll be referencing this
and down below, tell us your superpower. So if you get it up, put it up in the Vision Challenge engagement group as well. Post it on your business Facebook page. But go ahead and drop us a line down in the comments below and tell us what your personal superpower is, and how you came to that. So you might have multiple jobs, but there's one thread that runs through it all, that ties it all together, why you have all those different industries or jobs or pieces. So let us know down there.
If you looked over your LinkedIn profile and said, I've done this and this and this, or your resume or whatever, and these are all the things I did, what was it across all of those that really allowed me to achieve the results that I'm referencing in that
and
profile
made you
or whatever, made you successful? What is it? Is there anything in that I use when I'm with my kids or my family or my church or my, in the community that I'm in?
And that goes to the bigger picture.
Right.
Like, if you know that you're Iron Man needs the Avengers to conquer the aliens or whatever's out there. And I think that's ultimately kind of where we envision the Business Growth Network going, is kind of building that Avengers team. And you can't do that unless you know what superpowers you're working with.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right.
So enjoy, use the PDFs that are downloaded in the email, or you can download from the email. Feel free to ask any questions and let us know in the comments. Have a great day.